Welcome to another installment of Donning the Armor. This morning we will begin in 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 31. Jehoaz was 23 years old when he became king, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. That's not Jeremiah the prophet, that's Jeremiah of Libnah. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all that his fathers had done. So you have Josiah, the reformer king. Now you have Jehoaz being placed on the throne by the people. It said the people anointed him after the death of Josiah. And it's interesting because this is his third son. His oldest apparently has already died. The second son, the people have no confidence in, seemingly. So they jump all the way down to the third son and put him on the throne. That's how disheveled the nation has become. Even the royal line has no real power over the lineage that's coming. They don't even have, for as the longest time we've been seeing coup after coup over who is, we have kings coming to the throne and then killing off all their siblings so that but not this time. Now it's just the people going, you guys are powerless. We're just going to put you in place. That's the way it comes off. That's how far Judah has fallen. That this young man, 23 years old, is becoming king. And he only reigns 3 months. Because now Pharaoh Necho put him in prison at Riblah in the land of Hamath, that he might not reign in Jerusalem. And he imposed on the land a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. So this is the third son of Josiah. The first one died. The second one got skipped. Now you have the third of 4. Now this one was called to meet with the Pharaoh at Riblah in the land of Hamath. And as soon as he gets there, he has him thrown away and drug off to Egypt. Seemingly just drug off to die. That's it. Apparently, although evil, Jehoaz was actually a stronger king. He actually had some kind of fortitude. He would put up a fight. Pharaoh Necho wanted nothing to do with Judah on his way out to battle. Josiah forced the issue, went to war and died. Now Pharaoh coming back, and possibly this is why Josiah wanted to go out and fight him, because he didn't want him coming back from battle stronger, maybe. And he knew he was coming for him sooner or later, so he just figured maybe he'd meet him in battle at his own terms. Either way, his plan seriously failed. But now, the Pharaoh is completely taken over. Puts a king in chains, and is going to appoint a new king over Judah himself. Is going as far as to change the name of Eliakim, Josiah's son. Now the people of Israel have gone full circle. They came out of Israel by the power of God, turned on God, refused to honor him for centuries. At this point, probably millennium. Refused to honor God. And now they've fallen under the power of Pharaoh in Egypt again and have become a vassal state of Egypt. It said, and he imposed on the land a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. This is just what you're paying up to him all the time. It's not a one-time thing. This is the taxes you owe him now. This is the tribute you have to pay. You're now a vassal state working for the wealth of Egypt. You wanted to go back to Egypt so bad. Welcome home. You wanted this? The Lord has said in his permissive will, I'll let you have what you wish. You wished for this, now you can have it. Now you can experience it in all its greatness and all of its fulfillment. Then Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim, the son of Josiah, king in place of his father Josiah, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. And Pharaoh took Jehoahaz and went to Egypt, and he died there. So he took off the king who could actually fight back. Wicked as he may have been, he had some ability to put up a fight. He had some strength behind him. And placed in the second son, who the people didn't want because they knew he wasn't going to be a good leader. And now he is the handpicked leader of their conquerors. So Jehoiakim gave the silver and gold to Pharaoh, but he taxed the land to give money according to the command of Pharaoh. He enacted the silver and gold from the people of the land, from everyone according to his assessment, and gave it to Pharaoh Necho. So he was more than willing to just go along with the more powerful person and do whatever he needed to do to live his life of luxury. He didn't need to stand up for his country. He didn't need to stand up for his people. He didn't need anything. He just wanted to go with the wickedness that he had out before him. He wanted to continue in the wicked ways, in the ways of laziness that he had. There was no reason to put up a fight. There was no reason to go on and do anything, any more of resistance than he needed, because he had the easy life he wanted. He had the pride of life. He had the lusts of the flesh. He didn't need anything else. As long as he was alive, he was happy. As long as he had these pleasures, he was great. 11 years. And as my my study Bible says, was noted with extreme wickedness. As pointed out in Chronicles, and even Jeremiah depicts him as a monster. That Jeremiah himself would go on to mention him as being a terrible, terrible individual and a wicked, wicked king. And that he would just be one of those people. For thus says the Lord concerning Shalom, which is the basically the name of the throne that all of his sons would sit on. The son of Josiah, king of Judah, who reigned instead of Josiah's father, who went from this place. He shall not return here any more, but he shall die in the place where they have led him captive, and he shall see this land no more. That's Jehoahaz. And therefore, thus says the Lord concerning Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah. They shall not lament for him, saying, Alas, my brother, or alas, my sister. They shall not lament for him, saying, Alas, my master, or alas, his glory. He shall be buried with the burial of a donkey, dragged out and cast out beyond the gates of Jerusalem. This is just the kind of wickedness. Surely you will be ashamed and humiliated for all your wickedness. That this is the wickedness that these people brought on themselves. That this is the wickedness with which they commanded their people, coming off of the great reformer king who no one had been like before or again. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zebdulah, the daughter of Pedaiah of Ramah, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all that his fathers had done. Just continual wickedness by people who cared solely for themselves, whose desire to see good in the lives of their people and their subjects was non-existent. The wickedness, as I've said before, the wickedness and sinfulness of people, it does not stop with them. It continues on, and other people have to pick up need to pick up the slack and the tab for the cost of other people's wickedness. And the people of Judah, although Josiah turned fully to the Lord, the people seemed not to turn quite as hard as he did. They agreed, just like the Israelites did coming out of Egypt with Moses, they agreed to obey the commandments of God until it came to obey them in full, to actually obey them. It's one thing to say you can obey them. It's another thing to say you will obey them. It's another thing to actually do it. And as you can see, the timetable has just been turned up and things are rolling. You have, at this time period, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel even. All these people are alive in the same era. All these people concurrently moving on as this record of the nation is being written. And the horrors that they're coming across because of the weakness of their leaders and the weakness of their faith in the guiding hand of God. So starting in chapter 24 now. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his vassal for 3 years. And he turned and rebelled against him, and the Lord sent against him raiding bands of Chaldeans, bands of Syrians, bands of Moabites, and bands of the people of Ammon. He sent against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord which he had spoken by his servants the prophets. So Nebuchadnezzar comes up through, defeats the Assyrians, defeats the Egyptians, and now Judah is his vassal state. Because Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon has become so big and so powerful that although Egypt had gone against him once and then taken over as he's coming back, now Nebuchadnezzar is sweeping through and everything is becoming his. The world of man is a world where might makes right, a world run by the powerful, not by the godly. It's one run by whatever appeals to the flesh and whatever you can take in your hands. That's why we're called to be holy. That's why we're called to reject it. That's what the Israelites were called to do. Instead, they wanted to join these other people. They wanted to join this world. They wanted to join these idolaters and their land. Now they're having to suffer it. The Lord has permitted them to live in the land they wished. Now they're getting it. And the Lord's, no, I read that. Surely at the commandment of the Lord, this came upon Judah to remove them from his sight because of the sins of Manasseh according to all that he had done, and also because of the innocent blood that he had shed. For he had filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. The sins of the father falling upon the sins of the son, not because solely to be punished because of what they had done, but because the payment is due. The people were with it. They didn't rise up and stop Manasseh. They didn't rise up against them. They stood by as innocent blood was shed and looked the other way as long as it wasn't them. They turned a blind eye to what was happening because it wasn't them. And as long as they were safe, as long as they were off to the side, as long as it wasn't directly affecting them, they were okay with it. They were okay with it as long as it wasn't them. But now they're going to pay the price for that. They're going to find a place. They're going to pay the price for the sins because the price is coming due. The price of inaction sometimes is just as bad as the price of action. You have a duty to stick up for people, or you will carry the horror of your inability to do anything with you. Am I my brother's keeper? That's what Cain asked God after he killed Abel. Where's Abel? Am I my brother's keeper? Am I responsible for him? Yeah, kind of. And the innocent blood that was shed on their watch is also their fault. Could they have stopped it? Maybe, maybe not. But there was a bunch of conspirators who stopped Ammon. They were executed for it. They paid for it because they weren't doing something good. But the innocent blood could have possibly been stopped. Maybe more of it would have been shed. But maybe in the shedding of that blood by sticking up for it, they also would have had the stains of that sin washed from them. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? So Jehoiakim rested with his fathers. Then Jehoiachin, his son, reigned in his place. So with Jehoiakim gone, Jehoiachin, his son, begins to reign in his place. And the king of Egypt did not come up out of his land anymore, for the king of Babylon had taken all that belonged to the king of Egypt, from the brook of Egypt to the river Euphrates. So it's not quite from the Nile. It's just from a different kind of a different river in Egypt. So it wasn't quite the Nile, but he took all this land and has just defeated Egypt. They've now been sequestered to their land. And now it is Nebuchadnezzar in this mighty Babylonian army. This mighty Babylonian power that has arisen. The Assyrians are gone. The Medes and the Babylonians have destroyed them, as was predicted by Nahum. And now you have Egypt being beaten back by a greater power. So you have Egypt put to rest. You have Jehoiakim gone. Jehoaz gone. And now his son Jehoiachin reigning in his place. 18 years old when he became king. And he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. That's it. Just 3 months. This is the power and the might that's coming against them. His mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done. At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, as his servants were besieging it. Then Jehoiachin, king of Judah, his mother, his servants, his princes, and his officers went out to the king of Babylon. And the king of Babylon, in the 8th year of his reign, in the 8th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, took Jehoiachin prisoner. So this becomes the first captivity of Jerusalem. He's taken out, Jehoiachin is taken prisoner. But this is also where the princes, this is where Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were all taken away. This is when, more than likely, Ezekiel is taken away in the captivity as well. Ezekiel was one of the people taken away and was a prophet in Babylon for the Israelites, at the same time that Daniel was a prophet for Babylon. And Jeremiah remains in Jerusalem. So you have these different prophets writing about these experiences, about the wickedness of all the things that are going on. You have these people being taken out, the nations being raided, pillaged, destroyed, and stripped away piece by piece. Piece by piece. 3 months into his reign, he's taken away in the captivity. And he carried out from there all the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house, and he cut into pieces all the articles of gold which Solomon the king of Israel had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said. Also he carried into captivity all Jerusalem, all the captains, all the mighty men of valor, 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained except the poorest people of the land. And he carried Jehoiachin captive to Babylon. The king's mother, the king's wives, his officers, and the mighty land mighty of the land, he carried away into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. All the valiant men, 7,000, and craftsmen and smiths, 1,000 who were strong and fit for war, these the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon. Doing away with everything, stripping the nation of its identity and leaders and all the powers that stood in the way and made Jerusalem what it was. He's stripping everything and leaving only the poorest people to tend the land. Where Assyria scattered the 10 tribes among among all of their lands and all their conquered territory, the king of Babylon thought wiser and decided, I want the best and brightest. I'm going to twist them. I'm going to show them the wonders of Babylon, which Babylon was a wondrous place. It was an idolatrous place. It was a wicked place, but it was a wondrous place. They had the wonders of the flesh and the eyes and the lust of life, the pride of life. They had all of that in abundance, which we see from Daniel's account. They had all these great and many things. So with that, he's going to get the people to turn. He's going to turn their hearts by appealing to their flesh. He's going to take the best and brightest, and the ones that want to survive and want to prosper will join him. Those that don't, he can enslave them or kill them. That's the different philosophies between Assyria and Babylon. Babylon was about conquest and making itself stronger. Assyria became stronger through fear, intimidation, and viciousness. Babylon seems to have become stronger by acquisition, which is what will happen also with the Persians when they take over Babylon. It's the same idea. Acquisition. We're going to bring you in and we're going to take the best of you and cast off the worst. And it's the same thing for the next couple conquering kingdoms, the Persians and then the Romans. Would all do the same thing. Rome, of course, would have the Pax Romana, the peace of Rome, meaning you can keep your own customs if you want, but you're going to obey us and you're going to treat us as your leaders. You're going to pay us our tithes and you're going to be subject to us. But other than that, you can have all your own little cultural customs all you want, as long as you stick giving us our money and our taxes and anything else we wish from your land. Then the king of Babylon made Mattaniah, Jehoiachin's uncle, king in his place, and changed his name to Zedekiah. So here you have Mattaniah, or Zedekiah. This is the fourth of Josiah's sons. Fourth. 3 of the 4, because it seems as though the oldest one had already died. 3 of the 4 sat on the throne of Judah, at least for a time. 3 of them in what has just been an absolute abysmal state of things for Judah. With Josiah's death, everything fell apart. Everything in the nation absolutely came apart at the seams. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah, and he also did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all that Jehoiakim had done. For because the anger of the Lord, this happened in Jerusalem and Judah, and he finally cast them out from his presence. Then Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. So with everything that has happened, you get Zedekiah in power. And Zedekiah decides that he is going to do what he can to overturn this state of affairs. He's going to overturn and fight against the captivity of Babylon. He's going to come out and he's going to do what needs to be done so that way he can be in a state of victory. He's seen people taken away. He's been installed in place, and he's not having it. He's going to try to rebel against the king of Babylon. Futile as it may have been, it did show some guts. That I'll have to give him. Might not have been the smartest, but he's showing some fight. Unfortunately, as we've already read, Babylon has taken away everything, including the strongest, the brightest, the most powerful, the most talented people from Judah. He's taken everything. There's not much left. And with that, we come to the end of chapter 24. One book remaining in 2 Kings. One chapter remaining in 2 Kings. In this one final chapter in the history of Judah, in the history of this kingdom period. One final go at it. An attempt to actually one last attempt to become God's people and become what they were. All this time, all these centuries, God had warned them, Samuel had warned them, do not take kings. The Lord is your king, do not take a king. They decided, nope, we're going to do what we want to do. This is what we wish to have. This is what we want now. This will be best for everything. We'll have a king, we'll be able to stand up, we'll have a leader just like all these other nations had. And what came of it? Sin and destruction. Pain and grief. And worst of all, a separation from their Creator and the King of Kings. The one true and living God whose presence they should have desired to live in. All this, and this is what comes to pass. And this is where it will end. One final gasp. One final gasp for a kingdom that was once one of the mightiest in the world. Going out with a whimper. The city built by David, the temple built by Solomon, this great and mighty nation brought low, brought to destruction because they refused to honor the covenant they made with their God. And now one final gasp at rebellion. But we'll get into that next time. For now, we'll end here with the ending of chapter 24. I hope this was fruitful for you. I hope to see you back again next time. But until then, be blessed.